Well, I just remembered a little adventure I had some time back. I call it the Soldier Boy, and that's how it starts. It was some time back, a few years ago, and I was working as a stocker or a stock person in a local supermarket. I'd stock the grocery items both in the back storage room when they came in by truck and also in the retail area up front in the store. I knew by heart where just about everything in the store was stocked. The position didn't pay much, but it was interesting and it kept me busy. Too busy to listen to the news much. I hated the news. It was always so much the same, another shooting at a convenience store or a school or something. And about the war in Afghanistan. It was always bad news. People getting killed, civilians along with the enemy military even. It was downright depressing. There was hardly ever a good word said about our troops overseas, who had their lives on the line for us. But that wasn't my problem. I was way too old to worry about the military much. Well, I had my apron on, one that went not only around my waist, but up the front with two galluses that went over my shoulders and around my neck to hold the front of the apron up. I'd finished a section of canned goods and I was pushing a cart down an aisle when I noticed a man in an army uniform standing at an intersection to another aisle. He was young and tall, about 6'2" or so, had a specialist third class patch on his sleeve. He was looking around as if looking for something in particular. I was still a ways from him, and I thought I might offer to help. When I got closer, just then a middle aged looking man walked up close to him and stopped facing him right in front of him. It kind of made me wonder what was going to happen next. This man had something on his mind. He asked the young man if he was in the army. The young man said yes, he was. I waited for what would come next. And after a second of hesitation, the older man stuck out his hand toward the young soldier and waited until the soldier reached his own hand out to the hand that was offered to him. The older man said, "I just want to thank you for defending my country. I appreciate it more than I can say." Then he shook the soldier's hand and he stepped back a couple of steps and he saluted him. He said, "Thank you for your service." The young man head nodded just slightly as if he wasn't sure what he should say. Then the older man just turned and walked out the front door, and he never looked back. I walked on to where that young soldier was still standing. "Could I help you find something?" I asked. He cleared his throat. He said, "Yes, I was looking for the bread. I need a loaf of sliced sourdough." Well, I reached out and just touched his arm and pointed toward the right and said, "It's on aisle 5." He stood still for just a brief moment, then he answered, "Oh, yes, thank you." And he headed toward aisle 5 to get his loaf of sliced sourdough bread, and I went back to work. I'm not sure just how that young fellow felt, but I know one thing. I know one thing for sure. I've never been more proud of anything in my life than I was on that day. This is JC, and that's my story. Thank you very much.